I think it's the same zoning, yeah, that
Oh.
original submission.
That's the last one, Jerry.
Any further discussion? JD?
Question. I asked a question, what designates a campground? And Doug said one or more. This gentleman just said he doesn't have any campers on the campground, but yet he still has to pay a $90 permit fee for campground permit. So my question would be, if it's an annual thing, and whatever you said, it has to be by the end of January or something, that he has to do it now, he clearly got notice or something, and he has to do it now by a certain time period, but since he does not have a camper on
He
it,
got no notice.
oh, we said he wasn't aware.
And he would have got notice back
I
in,
got the notice, I was
in
supposed to pay it by January
Yes.
the 15th.
yes. yeah.
But I didn't know you had to pay it if you didn't have a
Right,
camper.
right.
Which makes perfect common sense.
It's still a campground regardless of whether or not there's campers on it. If you want
That's all you
designated,
just said.
if you want designated as a campground with meeting all the requirements and keep it continuing, you need to renew it. And so that's what we're proving it right now.
Okay, well, my question would be, he's paying a permit for an annual permit fee. He has no
He
campers
doesn't
on.
have to pay that till he wants to go in and set up, JD. If he wants to bring a camper in later, he can do that, and hold off on this. It's up to him.
My suggestion was going to be, when you just put it in escrow, so he's protected, he has his fee, it's already established, but he shouldn't have to pay if he doesn't have campers there.
Well, you do, because I had to pay for all my empty ones. I do every year.
Well, that doesn't make it right.
I know.
We had the
I
same
just told you.
situation, a similar situation out here at the interstate, where they only wanted to pay for a small portion of the, because the lots were empty in the wintertime. And if they did that, the ordinance says you have to pay for all, you have to pay a fee per lot, whether it's filled or not. That's what the ordinance says. So that's the reasoning behind it.
Why
He can hold off and pay it later in the year, it doesn't, that's up to him.
don't those people out there don't have to be 50 feet off the edge of the...
Why?
Yeah.
Because they were already built when
In other words, you've got a double standard.
That's
for
not double
different people.
standard, they were already built, we couldn't make them move them. And the only problem is the distance from the road, there was no other issue.
They weren't built then.
And Bill,
You guys want, when you come in and want to argue, you can smile all you want, Darren. You want to argue, you want to make people mad, that's your whole tactic, you want to stall.
That's what you twisted to make it look like, Doug.
Okay.
The ordinance was passed in 2012.
A question on that, since you guys brought that up.
Whose phone's ringing?
I don't remember you guys discussing that. There was a question about that at the March meeting, I think, about that campground out there and the ingress and egress and the extra entrance that was, they never complied from the year before. And you told them they had to do that last year, and then you gave them to April 1st of this year. I never heard any further discussion about
I
that. What
don't
happened?
have an answer, I don't know.
They put it in.
Are they-
If they do, they.
I just didn't, I haven't heard any further discussion on that at planning commission or supervisor.
We have a motion on the floor?
I wrote it down as motion to approve Mr. Plant's campground permit with no changes made to the site since his last permit.
And Mr. Plants, you want to issue that permit tonight,
yeah,
or recommend the supervisors to be issued? I mean, or do you want to wait till you get a camper to come in? That's up
well, I
to
want it in there because,
you. You want to go ahead with it?
well, yeah, because
Okay.
if you wait how you gonna get a trailer in there if you don't have a permit?
Well,
Good point.
That is, I do have a question about that. Because then what you would be saying is, so you're saying the guy next at one could put half of his in escrow until he would have people come on?
no, I'm not saying anything about escrow.
But I'm saying
My
you told him
husband
he
is-
could hold his until he actually.
No,
has
he
people.
can, if he don't want to renew his permit right now, he can apply for a new one
Oh, so
later.
if you let it lapse, then you could,
You have to go through the process again.
right, wait until.
Right.
Which
I
is
think-
the
I think
situation.
he's just making them
I
essentially
understand.
maybe escrow.
Right, okay, but I was just trying to, I was like, all right, well, I'll put half mine in that.
I call for vote on the motion.
No, we have to
There
have a
is no
second.
second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Doug has already made the motion, do we have a second?
No second.
I know, I'm mad at him
Okay, roll call vote, Doug,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
And I said yes. Bob?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Moving on, subdivision, Robert E. Rogers.
This one down to that end of the table.
Bob, you're up.
What day today?
Good to see you guys. How you doing?
Thanks, sir.
How you doing?
Thank you.
Hey, Chuck.
Take him home.
Take care.
Thanks, Jeff.
Where's the sheet that goes with this so I can get the information off of it?
That's it.
Jerry, we have to have a sepia pen.
What?
We have to have a sepia pen to sign this.
Just one that I'll write on it, but that's usually, we usually just use a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Michael's might work.
This
though.
might work though.
Yeah.
Bob, what you're doing is essentially dividing off a lot on your property, is that what you're doing?
Yeah,
Okay. How big will the two parcels be?
just one parcel,
This be one parcel?
it'll be about 17 acres.
Okay.
The parent parcel will remain 25.8 acres. The new parcel is 16.9.
And there's water, city water, sewage out there?
Yes,
Okay.
So,
And none of it's landlocked?
Nope.
Everybody else would look at that.
All comes out against Liberty.
Did you say public water and sewer?
yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. It says here that we approved the worst.
Got water, but-
Yeah.
Planning commission.
Local plan commission.
Oh, there it is.
I move that we approve this subdivision. And that will be on the floor for questions.
Any further discussion about the
We need a
subdivision?
second. Second.
Second, Jody. Any further discussion? Call for a vote, Doug Tubert.
I had my hand up.
Oh, sorry.
My question is, Doug, did you look at it?
I looked at it, but I went online today and looked at the parcel, I talked to Lee, he explained what the subdivision was going to be, and I can see it from right here, and it's exactly what was explained to me, and he explained it as well. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Do you have a problem with it?
I have no problem with it
Okay.
whatsoever. I just wondered, you made the motion to approve it, but I didn't see you look at it, so.
See it from right here. I got a new pair of glasses, I'd like to see.
Any further discussion? Okay. Roll call vote, Doug,
Yes.
Jeff,
yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
I vote yes. Bob? Jody?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Okay, approved.
Lee, should you abstain from that?
You probably should abstain from that, you probably shouldn't sign it.
Yeah.
Okay. And Bob will sign it, right? 'Cause he's-
Yep.
I think Jerry has that.
Lee, For the record, you should state the reason for your abstention. You should state the reason of your abstention for the record.
Okay. Reason for my abstention is Bob Rogers is my father, and he's dividing the farm up into thirds. I already have, my third has already been set aside. We did that 2011 and 2012, then, something like that. Yeah. And this is subdividing Nancy's section off, which is the eastern section, and eventually my sister Judy will have the center section of the farm. I think it says township, but I'm gonna do that. So, you sign right there. Okay. Chairman. Right. Likes, you guys see. 23rd of May. I can use this spot here for the university. I'm gonna go to Jerry to sign. Please, go sign both of them or one of them here?
Is there two Mylars or
I don't know.
other, you have to sign other copies, but you don't need a special hand to do it. Just hand me the one. How many do you guys want signed? I need that
We
pen
usually sign two of them, right?
Oh, yeah, but those stay here, so I'm saying, do you want any for your family? Or do you you get the Mylar back now, I forgot, sorry.
Yeah. So,
I don't know, maybe.
You sign one, we don't sign them all.
You might want to just drive for a while before you come in.
okay.
And then you have a 5 copy
Right.
file as it was recorded.
You can go ahead
No,
and sign
print
it.
it.
Yeah, never hurts.
Oh, really?
Make sure you put vice chair on there. Here's the other copy. You can sign the rest of this.
Do I get to keep one of those copies?
Yep. You get to see me back to that.
After the supervisor.
After it's been signed, you'll have the signed CP also. But he wants one of the copies.
Those were the signed ones, they have to get the supervisor.
Yeah, well, we have more copies.
Do you want another one signed, you mean?
No, he's also.
Well, here's these ones too. Are these all the same?
Yeah, they're all the same. You're confusing me.
You can't have these. I'm just
I don't
giving
know,
it
they were with the package, put them back with the package.
back. You guys have it there, or is it here? Where is it?
No, we're working on that part now. You want a signed copy, Dan? One more time.
Oh, the supervisor just signed that, the Mylar, and it back.
Yeah, but he wants a copy, signed
Oh,
copy.
okay.
You're good at signing
Now
things.
it's really nice.
It's hard to get back in the mode of doing these kind of things, we haven't done them for so long. I don't think we've had one since we've had them. Yeah, we had a couple. Okay, Dad, here you go. Okay, the next item is regarding zoning, and I just have one thing to say about zoning. For 42 years, I worked for the Department of Defense, and I've been traveling all over the United States, in several different towns, townships, counties. I've always been active in churches where I'm at, I've been active in towns and cities and counties where I'm at. And I have to admit that I've never worked or been anywhere where they didn't have zoning. Zoning can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, but I have never in my life heard of anyone losing a business, being shut down because because zoning regulations. I've never heard of anybody being denied. I think, people have been denied and maybe had to work a little bit harder for a variance of some sort. But, that's irrelevant, I'm just making a statement on my own about that part of it before everybody else gets into theirs. So, with regard to the Code Township, Chapter 75, Planning Commission 75.5, duties regarding zoning, Planning Commission draft of the 2017 Donegal Township Ordinance. Remarks from the Planning Commission members. Kathy, do you have any comments to make? Or can you?
Well, we've been working on this for a year and a half. We've cut it to the bare bones. In my opinion, if we cut it any further, it's not gonna meet the county. We need to pass it on to the supervisors and let them take it from here. There'll be 45 days comment period where everybody can still change, do whatever they want. I think the planning commission has worked very hard to get this to satisfy the residents.
Doug? Are you going to tell us?
No, I think there's been a lot of work done since December a year ago by the supervisors, by a group of citizens, by the planning commission, and there's been a lot of money spent. And yes, I know that everyone's not in favor of all of it, lots of it I'm not in favor of. But it is a start. The people have worked diligently, and I think it's time to move it along. That's all I have to say.
Jeff, I know that you're new, but do you have any comments about it?
I have a question. Wasn't there a court situation that required the planning commission? Have you updated or done what was required? I was just sitting in the audience, since I don't know.
Yes. That's why we have it. It was at a planning committee and the court moved it back to the planning commission.
The court did not move it back. Supervisors agreed to take it back.
True, yes.
Okay, however,
Yeah.
either way. So that's been met, or?
Yeah, that's this process that's ongoing here, was the planning commission was to come back with a draft.
The court also at that time changed the stipulation to where that we only had to do public comment, we don't have to do a public hearing from the planning commission. Now, that's what we take care of at the township level.
I just would say I'd like to make sure it's complete. That would be my stance, because it's hard to change things. I just hear Nancy Pelosi in my head saying, let's just pass it. And we're all dealing with that nightmare,
Thank you.
on the federal level. So that would just be my comments, that it's complete.
It won't be complete till the supervisor is done with it.
I understand, I'm just saying that,
Yes,
I was under the understanding that the planning commission was making sure all of these
right,
ordinances and things were complete.
that's what they've been working on.
Lee, can you repeat? I couldn't hear what you just said to Jeff about the court also what?
The court finding also stated that the planning commission only had to do public hearing.
Not a public hearing.
Not, excuse me,
Public
only had to do public comment.
Public
not-
meeting, public meeting.
That's not the
Public
court.
Yes.
That's not what the court said.
I mean, yeah, there is a question on whether or not basically it was agreed upon the parties to come to the planning commission. I don't think that's being contested. It came from the planning commission. Under the law, under the municipalities planning code, and under the second-class township, the planning commission has to have a public meeting to review and consider this. That is what these meetings are. There are still other steps under the MPC, not related to the court. The court has nothing to do with that. This is strictly based by the MPC that states what has to be done prior to any type of zoning ordinance, and right now for zoning, what has to be done. So right now, it's at the level of the planning commission. Once the planning commission is satisfied that there is a draft, they can be recommended to go to the county planning commission for review, can go to the board of supervisors for review. There are still additional steps they have to do. That's when you get into having to have a public hearing on the item. What's right in front of the planning commission right now is not that, and it's not court ordered or anything like that. That's what the law says you have to do before it can even get to the supervisors.
Answer your question, Judy?
He explained it, I would just ask you to repeat what you said to Jeff, because I couldn't hear, and it didn't sound like what I remembered happening in court, so.
Bob?
You skipped Jody.
Sorry. She was being quiet, she obviously,
No, when I volunteered to be on this commission, the zoning was at the board level, but then it came back to us, so I was committed to try to improve it. If it was here, I was gonna make it as good of a zoning ordinance as we could, and I think this planning commission worked very diligently over the last year to make a number of marketed improvements in that ordinance, and listened to resident comments and incorporated them, and worked very hard to do that. Is it a perfect document at this point? No, I didn't even bring my copy in tonight to continue to work on it, because I don't see the point for us all to sit here for another 3-hour meeting, month after month after month, to work through and improve on an ordinance that's never gonna get adopted or get adopted and repealed. So, we do not have the authority to make that call. That call comes from the board and comes from the public process through a public hearing. So, my thought is we send what we have to the board and let them deal with it. But I see no reason for this planning commission to continue to try to perfect a document that is effectively dead.
Bob?
I came on the same time Jody did. I agree with what Jody said. It's not a perfect document. There's things that I don't agree with. There's things that I probably don't understand. But I think it's time to move it on and find out where it's gonna end up.
All right, I didn't know we were doing this tonight, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently. I would just say, I believe that the election showed that the people don't want it.
Amen.
That's my personal interpretation of it,
You could have
but
spent your money on a lot better stuff than wasting it on this.
Hey, Jerry,
yes, sir.
just to clarify, the election,
Wait, just a second, we're not
The
got
primary.
the public comment yet.
the citizens of Donegal Township is what you're talking about, the vote?
Yes,
Okay.
the
just
primary
to
we
be
just
clear.
had, sorry, I'll clarify that. The primary we just had.
Farm.
And personally, I think it's pretty obvious to everybody, I believe that it is not necessary to have this in Donegal Township. My entire life, we've not had it, and all the things that we've discussed as being reasons we need it have never come to fruition in the past. I guess that doesn't mean they couldn't in the future, but we've dealt with things that have come up already. So to put another level of government into anything, I don't believe is necessary, because most of the people in Donegal Township have in excess of 2 acres. It's not like we're all on top of each other, although we do have the Village of West Alexander, which I feel if those are the people that really want this, they should split off and go back to having their own town council and town rules and, doing whatever they want to do. I think this primarily affects people who have farms and large properties, and I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, public comment. Who's first? Oh, yeah. Bob, go
I'm just
ahead.
reminding you 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
We can't discuss this until if somebody makes a motion and seconds it.
Yeah, you
You're
switched
gonna
that
do that.
beginning.
That's true, I switched it back. That's true. They have a motion to approve the planning commission zoning ordinance and return to the supervisors for further action.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Now, not the second yet. Public comment.
He is second.
You need a second before you have a public comment.
Have those seconds. Put them on the floor.
Okay. Second?
I will second it.
Second.
So are you holding us to 5 minutes, all of us?
Yeah.
Who seconded it?
I think it's be appropriate
Doug
for,
did.
I think it would be appropriate to allow each person 5 minutes myself.
Michael has a question.
Just a quick question. Are you approving
The current draft,
Which
the current draft that,
We've been working on it.
is?
This one, the
Yeah.
4-3-17.
Okay, that one, just so I'm clear, for the last 2 or 3 meetings, we've gone through and I've made notations and everything. I have not been updating that because we didn't want to keep having new drafts that had to be reprinted out, circulated. Is your motion to, I guess, to consider for recommendation, subject to those changes being incorporated, or is it that we're just leaving it what that 4-3 draft is? I guess I just wanted to make sure what my,
I'll
what
change,
my rule is.
I'll change
And
my
also, we're
motion.
only on page 44, just FYI.
I thought we were on 33, so.
I'll change my motion
Wait just a second.
to accept the draft zoning ordinance in its last version with all the updates
Okay,
that you've
just so I-
made up
okay.
to date.
Okay, because I have notes, I didn't actually incorporate them to get the draft, so I'll, okay, just want to make sure.
But that is my question already in the motion, so it's up, he has notes to page 43.
Yeah, but I guess what they're saying is that from the last draft, 4-3, I don't know, 4-3,
4-3-17.
based on the April comment, so there's 2 meetings in April. So it would be, you'd be incorporating the 4-3-2017, subject to the comments based on the review for the 2 meetings in April. I would incorporate those.
But shouldn't I put like, because, okay, so now we've done that process to page 43, but from 43 on to
these will remain the same.
89.
Those would remain the same as what
I will
I'm
amend,
hearing.
Be
I
unchanged.
will amend the second. To
Is there a record?
same word.
Okay, what am I making the motion?
Go ahead, Candace, go again.
Hmm?
Go ahead, so Jerry can get
So
this.
you want to make it subject to those changes being
Those
incorporated?
changes
that
through
we're
the
discussing?
April 25th meeting? 25th?
Through the, there's 2 April
Unbelievable.
meetings.
Yes,
that changes
through the April 25th
Okay.
meeting.
So it's
I got a question on that.
Well, hang on just a second.
planning and
We will
zoning.
come to public comment. I think.
Okay, so to approve planning and zoning ordinance, I said, changes to April 25th, 2017 meeting.
You're approving the zoning ordinance, subject to the changes, yeah, discussed through April 25th meeting. So that'll be the draft, subject to those changes being incorporated from those last 2 meetings, that draft is what is being recommended to be sent to the board.
Okay, well, should I make any reference to how far that goes? Like as far as food?
I mean, well, you went through the ordinance multiple times already, but those just covered up to, page,
Okay, so just leave that one.
I would just leave it to that.
All right, so the motion is to approve the planning and zoning. The motion is to approve planning and zoning ordinance, subject to changes discussed through April 25th, 2017 meeting.
Does that sound right, Kevin?
Second is fine.
Okay.
Okay, we're ready to go to public comment. All I'm going to do first. Bob, go ahead.
I got several of them, so bear with me. What are you gonna do about the things that we had discussed and we had decided to do after we got to that point? The noise ordinance. You guys are supposed to check and see from some of the other ones where that's at. You got a lot of stuff hanging here.
If I can.
I'm asking a question, if you don't wanna answer it, that's fine.
Public comment, go ahead.
Public comment? I think you set the whole thing up tonight. I don't think Lee, as far as what he read there in the beginning, did you write that, Lee?
Which part?
That part that you read about the 2017 planning thing and asked them what we were gonna do about it? You started out by asking and reading about the 2017
Oh, yeah.
planning. Did you write that?
Planning Commission's draft